it's recording.
All right, starting in three, two. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's the Hoop Talk podcast. It's the same gang as usual, man. We got a very special episode today, so make sure you're here for the entire episode. We're going to announce our winner for the March giveaway of the Atleta Club, ladies and gentlemen, later in the episode. We're not going to do it early. So if you're interested, tap in, man. Episode will be premiering at 6 p.m. Keep in mind, if you are joining the Atleta Club while watching this episode, you will not be eligible, so don't try to sneak in late. We do not post this live. It looks like it, but it's actually a premiere. It's pre-recorded, so we're not going to see you if you join. I'm just letting you know. We're not going to see you if you join, trying to sneak in, trying to get, you know what I mean? We got our names already listed. Everything's been pre-recorded. We're going to pick somebody with the wheel. And what did I say we had? We had 21 people eligible.
Yeah,
What did I say?
21 people.
21 members of the Atleta Club, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be eligible to win the 2 tickets to Aquatica. One person will win 2 tickets to Aquatica, man. Shout out to y'all for supporting this long, and for supporting just in general, man. It means a lot. I was skeptical about this whole members thing. I'm not gonna lie. But shout out to the OBL, man, for allowing us to practice this with them and to try it out, see what the fan base is gonna be like. This has meant a lot, and it's going to open the doors for a lot of different opportunities for leagues to gain the exposure that they've been desiring, and it helps us so much. It helps us so
Also,
much.
shout out
Yeah.
to the people that didn't join from the OBL because we have gotten some subscribers that have nothing to do with the OBL. They come from the Oxleague, GM5, FBA, other places we've met them, just friends, family. Shout out.
I didn't even know that. Look at that. We had just learned something new today. But yeah, shout out to everybody, man. Our growth means the growth of Central Florida basketball. And then once we can, feel comfortable with the impact that we've had, man, we 100% have every intention to expand, every intention to build a team, to go all different types of places. Obviously, first in Florida, unless crazy opportunities were to present themselves outside of Florida, right? We'll take them. But we want to be the best that we can be here in Central Florida, and we need y'all to be able to do that. So we appreciate y'all for becoming members of the Atleta Club, for subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, all that good stuff, man. We've made it very far because of y'all. I would have never thought. I'm gonna be honest. It was an idea that I never thought was gonna work, but here we are, man. Like, we've built way more than I anticipated we would build up to this point. I'm not gonna lie, and it's all
Thank you
thanks to y'all.
guys.
That's. Mhm.
Yeah,
So let's get right
100%.
into it. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We have a lot of Central Florida basketball going on here, starting with our typical topic of the week. The Lambs, ladies and gentlemen, still undefeated, as they took down the Tampa Bay Titans, right? Tampa Bay Titans 107 to 102. And just like last week, we got the stats pulled up. We're all going to pick our player of the game to, give a shout out to. And I'm gonna let you guys start with who do you want to get a spotlight today from that Lambs roster?
Shout out to Rod. Rod making his way back. We talked about it. We thought that he was on the team initially, but then we hadn't seen him for the last couple of days, both on the bench and in the stats. He showed up though, and Rod hooping is always enjoyable. Rod is, he's a pretty big wing if you really do think about it. He's a good 6'5", 6'6", maybe even taller. I would say. Maybe I don't know height. I'm a short king myself. I apologize, but I do feel like he's up there. But he's very fluid in how he plays. He's very KD-esque, which is really
Yeah,
enjoyable to watch. Like he
Oh, he
moves.
started.
Yeah, he did. He's big, the size of a wing, but he moves like a guard realistically. So I'm gonna tap in. Unfortunately, my Saturdays are a little busy, so I always end up watching these games afterwards, and then I have more to talk about. I need to wake up earlier so I can watch them
uh,
Yeah, I'm same. I never get a chance to watch them. I've been trying to go every week, but it just never works out.
yeah, same. I'm with them. I think we're gonna align something to where all three of us just kind of wake up early and just ride together. I think that's gonna happen eventually. But I do want to shout out Daniel Parrish, Mr. Consistent. That he has been consistent for them. He dropped 23 and 4, which is hell of a game. I think, and he's just continually being the steady hand for them. So I just want to continuously shout him out. But like honorable mentions, one of my favorite players I've ever got to watch is Rod. I don't know about the 6'6", 6'5" thing, but he's definitely like he's a big guard compared to like a lot of the other people in this league. He's like more like a Dwayne Wade to me kind of moves, but just a way better shot maker, I think. But he's very fluid, like Tyler said. So I did want to give him like an honorable mention right there. And Keith had a hell of a game too.
Never
He's
had.
definitely 6'4", 6'5". I don't know about 6'6", but he's definitely 6'4", 6'5".
I think he's 6'7".
Definitely don't. Not at all.
I don't think if
Um,
Rod was 6'7" and moved like that would be here. I think Rod would be somewhere playing for sure.
Fair.
I mean, Rod does play.
No, I'm saying like I think Rod would be if Rod was like it's like the same thing with Kyrie Irving. If Kyrie Irving was like 6'6", it's like that. That's what I'm comparing it to. Like
Oh,
he would be unstoppable.
he played for Ole Miss. You got to think he
Yeah,
played for Ole Miss and he played overseas.
yeah.
I mean, the difference between 6'7" and 6'5" is not like outrageous. He's not like a giant. Like
It's like the difference in our
pretty
heights. I'm like 2 inches off you guys.
okay. Well, that's not the
All right.
difference.
Well, go ahead,
Not
Nas.
that's not the difference I was referring to whatsoever. But yeah, the difference between 6'5" and 6'7" is not that big a deal. That's why you see so many small forwards. So many small forwards in the league now because like they started noticing that height difference isn't as drastic as people made it out to be in the past, and people can lock in. If they play
People
good
aren't
defense at
posting
the end of
up
the day.
no more. That's why that height difference is like not a big reason anymore because people aren't posting up. I
Listen,
think if
length.
Yeah,
people were
but
posting up again, I think the height thing would be a thing for sure.
I think
yeah,
length
Rod's
matters a
not
lot more
posting
than
anybody up, so there you go.
yeah. I think length matters a lot more than height anyway now. It's more about how
Yeah,
long are your arms and your legs versus anything
Yeah,
else.
100%.
And for
yeah,
me,
I
my
agree.
legs and my arms are both short, unfortunately.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to uh, unsuspecting character here, KT, Alex Torrey. I want to give him a shout out. It's interesting to see. He's been a starter, I believe, 2 games in a row now. He's a very high energy guy, so I love the fact that they're valuing that and they're giving him those opportunities, man. And he's been out there, he's produced, consistently. He's giving them what they need, and from what I've been able to watch, which is costing me a hefty penny, but I'm supporting. That's what I do. He's been doing really good, man. He's a high energy guy. He likes as we've seen him in the past, go for every dunk he possibly can, and that motor, that adrenaline that he kind of gives the team by just playing hard and playing intense all the time is very valuable. And I think the Lambs are kind of noticing that. And he's was in the starting lineup again. So shout out to him. That's really who I wanted to give a shout out to. And the pro guys, the high caliber guys that we wanted to see from before the season started. Looks like led the way this time around with Daniel Parrish and Jermaine Taylor, both scoring 20. So shout out to that, man. So make sure y'all go to TBL TV and catch the game. It's some great basketball being played. I didn't get an opportunity to watch this one. I'm not gonna lie, because it just happened yesterday. And as Tyler said, I did not wake up early enough to do that today. But I definitely want to catch this game because I am surprised that Daniel and Jermaine both came off the bench. Very interesting. However, I do wonder how accurate these are. You know what I mean? Like I wonder if like somebody is legitimately putting them down as starters, or they don't know who started, so they just picked random people. You know what I mean? Like I wonder how legit these are.
Last time I watched, it was correct though. The last 2 times it was right. And if you really do think about it, I mean, it kind of does fit. Rod is realistically a wing. He could be a 2-3, so he could be the two in this situation. T Pat, point guard, and then you have AJ who could be the small forward. I think that this is actually legit. I would believe it.
Tyshawn Patterson starting is pretty cool too. That's
That's what I'm
dope.
saying.
It's almost a completely different lineup because actually, now that I think about it, I don't see
Rider didn't start.
the big man here. Is he? Yeah, I don't see him. Am I
Here's
blind?
Ronnie Delp. He didn't start 9 and 8.
Oh, there you go. I see him now. Yeah, he didn't start. So yeah, more to what we've been saying in the past. It looks like they're really just trying out different lineups every game, which I I've never been a fan of. Just to be honest, I'm not a fan of that style of game planning personally. Um, I think it creates difficult opportunities for a team to gel, but at the end of the day, it's working. They're undefeated, so who the fuck am I, right?
You also got to think they have a little ways to go until they really leave outside of Florida. So this is kind of that opportunity to build chemistry. Their first away game outside of the state of Florida is in May. So 2 months to kind of get your gears rolling, figure out who's going to be kind of your guys that you rely on in that starting lineup, and then you kind of switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but I mean, shout out to the Lance man for what they're putting together. We're gonna say it every single episode. Really putting Central Florida basketball on the map. So y'all make sure y'all go and tap in with them on their social media, on their YouTube channel, on TBL TV, all that good stuff, man. Can't wait to see what they have in store for the rest of the season. Um, but moving on to our next big game of the weekend, which was last week actually, but it was after our podcast recording, so we were not able to share these results until today. The Florida Tropics, ladies and gentlemen, have beaten the Polk County Royals in the Southern Region White Division Championship to advance for what I understand is it should be uh, either regionals or what would be the next? I don't know. But either way, they advanced to the next round of the playoffs, which from my understanding, is going to be in Atlanta. So shout out to the ABA for putting that together. From my understanding, they organize these every year in a different city. So that's really dope that they're able to do that. Um, Tyler, you were there with me, man. Tell them more about the game.
So the game started off very close, I would say. Kind of back and forth. For most of the game, the Royals they were kind of trailing, but they were kind of sticking within that game. They were within five. Then the third quarter comes around and things just kind of get real nasty at some point. There's some back and forth between the coaches and the bench, some disagreements, some comments from the coach, and the lead just kind of ballooned from there. It seemed like the Royals just they weren't hitting their shots, they weren't really getting any stops. They were turning the ball over a lot. I think there was a sequence where they had turned the ball over like four times back to back to back to back, and the Tropics, they stayed really composed and they kind of just pulled away. Um, I don't have their names unfortunately, but actually I'll pull it up because I'll come back and we'll talk about that. But they were just they were just so poised in the way that they were playing. Like they were handling the ball very well. They were very conservative, and I don't know. They got in their heads. That's the best way I could put it. I really do think that the Tropics got in the Royals' heads with the way that they were talking, the way that they were playing. Normally, the Royals are kind of able to speed people up. They're able to make them make bad decisions, especially in the half court, especially in transition. Actually, the full court. They're just very good at that third quarter, just turning the Jets on and making you make bad plays. But it didn't happen this time. The Tropics just they were very poised. That's a very good team to watch.
Yeah, I agree 100%. The Tropics did a very good job of staying in control of that game. Really set the way for the Royals, and then that at the end of that game, man. Next thing you know, it became Dunk City in that shit. Like, what the fuck was going on? Out of nowhere, almost every player on the court just decided it's time to dunk the ball. I'm like, what in the world? Where was this entire game? What happened?
Y'all could do
Um,
this.
Right. I was like, what in the world? Y'all couldn't do this as the rest of the game? Like we needed some clips, fellas. What the hell? But that was a fun game, man. The Florida Tropics, very, very exciting team, very good team in general. Play with a lot of energy, man. And the Royals just could not get it going, man. I think Joe Stubbs, I think, started 0-4, 0-5 from three in that first half. And just, I mean, he kept shooting it. And, typically they say shooters shoot. But, I don't know if he's in that category personally. I mean, he definitely can knock down a shot, but not enough to keep going at it after missing the first three. So that was unfortunate. He picked it up in the second half. Moody picked it up in the second half, fourth quarter, really. But it was too late at that point. They needed that momentum, but um, that game was always winnable, and that's what was most disappointing. They never were in a situation where they could not win until they could not win, and it was all on them. They gave up way too early. They did not have a deficit that was troublesome enough to have that mentality, and it was disappointing. Just in all honesty, it was disappointing because the Royals as this tough team, gritty, play with a fast pace, a lot of defense, forcing turnovers, physical, talking shit. You know what I mean? And they gave up way too early. They did not believe in the ability to win that game somewhere around that 4 minute mark, and, to me, that was not the case. That was not the case whatsoever. So it was disappointing to see, but it doesn't put away what they've done this season. They had a remarkable season. I believe they finished 16-4, 16-5 when you count that game, if I'm not mistaken. So they definitely had a remarkable season in the ABA, and every year is about improvement. They just got to learn from this, and we'll see them again next year and see what they can bring together. There's rumblings that the Royals might look a little different next year. Just saying,
What do you
words
mean
were
by that?
exchanged. Words
Expound.
were exchanged. Statements were made, and there's a possibility the Royals roster might look significantly different next year. We'll, we'll see. We'll see. Stay
It,
tuned.
it it's funny that you mentioned that though, because you say that it was close. Even at the end, bro, again, the Tropics on like 6 possessions at the end of the game just turned the ball over. Like back to back to back to back. And the Royals only took advantage of that twice. They only scored twice. So like it's tough. Like they had their number. I really do think that. It's gonna be interesting seeing this team and how like if it does change. Because I don't envision a Royals team without like Cyrus, without like Isaiah Moody. Like they're kind of just like Royals to me, like always. Tim, Joe Stubbs. Like I don't even.
Facts. I
That's gonna be
agree.
so weird.
There's no
Yeah.
telling where the roster might change, at the end of the day, or if the roster might change. But listen, we got until about September, October-ish to find out. So we'll see what happens with the Royals, man. We'll see what they put together for next ABA season. But I'm excited to see how far the Florida Tropics can take it. Hopefully, the ABA can figure out some decent broadcasting options because I definitely want to watch those games. I want to be able to see what those teams look like that were able to make it that far because the Tropics are a very talented team, and I can imagine the rest that are making it that far are probably just, if not more talented than them. So I hope those games are going to be available to watch somewhere.
Oh,
Shout
especially
Yeah.
the
out to
Silverbacks. I need to watch the Silverbacks.
Yeah, yeah. The Silverbacks for real.
Yeah, shout out to the Tropics coach. Though he mentioned, gave the Royals some props for being, the most broadcasted team in the ABA and the easiest team to scout and watch in general. You know what I mean? Which is obviously a double edged sword, a little bit if you really think
Yeah, that
about
was a little bit of a
it.
backhand, front hand
Yeah,
action right there.
yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword. At the end of the day, he's giving them props for putting together, what they do and giving their fans an opportunity to watch the games and all that good stuff. But then that also makes them one of the teams that's easiest to, game plan against because you can see everything they're doing every game where other teams don't have that same luxury. But even though he was mentioning the Royals, I'd like to take it as a compliment towards us because we have been the ones broadcasting their games in the last 2 years. So shout out to Atleta Sports for putting that together, man. But shout out to Coach. I think it was Coach Smiley, I believe that he was calling himself. Shout out to him, man. Very energetic guy, super funny. Reminds me a lot of the energy that the Silverbacks coach was bringing as well. Very, very loud, very obnoxious, very southern to say the least. He's definitely a Florida boy. Let me tell you that much. Um, but that's enough about that, man. Shout out to the Tropics, and I wish them the best of luck for sure.
We're a championship over
Um,
Florida, please. Oh
For
yeah.
sure.
no facts. Um, E League happened on Sunday as well. Same case happened after we already recorded the podcast, so we had to wait until today to give everybody a little update on that. But the E League finals has been decided, or the matchup has been decided, to be clear, because the Lions faced off against the Claremont Caymans, who, by the way, were undefeated in the E League, and the Lions pulled away that win, 108 to 75. If I were to tell you that a player was missing for the Cabins based on the score, which player would you say that was?
Kevin Rulock.
Yeah,
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin
he's on the
Rulock
New York.
Kevin Rulock was unavailable for them. And that is I'm gonna take a moment. I'm gonna try my hardest not to make this a rant, but hey, this is podcast now. This is not the owner of the Serpents. This is not the co-owner, I guess you could say, of Atleta Sports. This is just the podcast of Hoop Talk. I want to give my 2 cents, removing myself from those spaces, putting myself in this one. I wasn't a huge fan of the E League's decision to allow main roster guys to participate in the elite games. I was not a fan. I voiced my opinion. I got outvoted. And at the end of the day, I have no choice but to respect the vote. I was not a fan of that whatsoever. I see the E League as an opportunity to develop more talent, right? I see the E League as an opportunity to give players who were not getting an opportunity on your main roster an opportunity to shine and show those coaches like, yo, I can hoop. Give me an opportunity. I can do it in practice. I can do it in a game. Just give me an opportunity in an FBA game, right? I have guys like Christian Sari who played for us our first couple of years in the E League. I have guys like Nick who played this year, Jamarcus as well, play on my elite team because minutes weren't always what they wanted, right? Uh, I never would have even considered the idea of telling Roberto Suarez to play on my elite team. I never would have hit up Jermaine Johnson and said, "Yo, you want to play on my elite team?" Like that's never a thought that crossed my mind personally. Um, I was outvoted though, so I have no choice but to respect the vote. And at the end of the day, I kept my mouth shut and I moved on. But I really wish, I encourage us to think about it differently next time around. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna see freaking, I don't know, Shea play on the E League team. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna see Jokic warming up with the E League team just to play a couple more games. Like, the worst case scenario, if they're back from like a really bad injury, I've seen that. You know what I mean? That's super rare though. 9 times out of 10, it's just practice, really. They're just getting more reps in practice so they can run full court and all that stuff. LeBron did it, which respect to him for being willing to do that, by the way. I never actually got a chance to say that out loud in any type of setting. But now that it's brought up, LeBron did it. LeBron went to the G League and practiced with those teams. Now, mind you, his son is on there, so that could be a huge reason why. But either way, either way, those are the scenarios where that something like that is possible, and those scenarios make sense. I wasn't a fan, man, and I'd like to say karma exists. Just putting that out there. Karma exists. But what I really want to point out, though, before I move on to continuing about the E League, is my real displeasure is you're making these guys depend on those guys, and that's not good for their development whatsoever. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a point that I never made in the FBA meetings, and I think that's where I went wrong. Maybe that could have been the point that convinced us to understand why I don't think this is the right choice. You're forcing the Caymans to depend on Rulock in order to win a basketball game. And that is the case essentially, right? Because losing by 75, I'm sorry, scoring 75 to 108, right? Losing by what is that, 33 points? That's what I mean. We all know that doesn't happen if Kevin Rulock is there. You know what I mean? We all
Yeah.
know if Kevin Rulock does his typical don't talk shit and make me turn up, his typical bullshit that he likes to do, and then fucking score 20 in the second half. You know what I mean? We all know that game goes a whole different way. You know what I mean? So like you're allowing those players to depend on him to succeed, and I don't think that's good for their development. I think the Caymans had a different idea though, because a lot of those guys were players that they are trying to get reps for, so they can bring them to the FBA, like the Jason Bernardis of the world, like the Matt Williamses of the world. Those guys are new to the Crocs world, and they're trying to get reps. So I respect that, but like let them get their own reps. You know what I mean? Let them figure that shit out on their own. Figure out what shots to take, what plays to make,
Yeah.
how to play the game the right way, and then come ready. Now you have a Kevin Rulock added to the equation. Now the game becomes easier for you. Now everything you've been working on, making tough shots, making wide open shots, getting open, getting your teammates open, playing defense. Now everything you've been working on can start gelling together once you add a player of Kevin Rulock's caliber to the equation. You know what I mean? Very similar to these rookies going to the summer league, going to the G League to figure it out first, play some NBA caliber basketball first, and then we'll put you on the court with LeBron James. Then we'll put you on the court with Luka Doncic, and let's see if you can produce. You know what I mean?
I agree with you on
I
that.
agree.
That's a lot of the times why, like, when you see a player get drafted to a team, a lot of the time the older statement or the franchise of the team or whoever is the face of the team, usually 9 times out of 10, if they're you know, their lifeline, the lines of development isn't the same. They got to get rid of one of them, and it's usually the older guy. And that kind of goes to what Nas is saying. I don't think someone who has statesmanship in his game, someone who is obviously developed and knows his role. This is a league for someone trying to find a role or find a niche. That's why you have Alex Caruso. That's why you have people like Shea Gildish. That's why you have people like the Oklahoma City Thunder's whole squad. You look at them; these were guys that got time to develop and get better. And this was a team Tyler picked 3 years ago to win a championship within the 3 years and did, because they had time to develop, and that's flowers to Tyler's. But that they had time to develop. You have teams like the Spurs; they got rid of all their old guys. They have like one vet. I think it's Harrison Barnes. They got rid of all the old people that were there because with time of change comes like a different play style. Like the Warriors, eventually there's going to be a time where development and focus is not on what Curry's well-being is. It should be on the guy who's next up. That's why you see a lot of these teams sometimes have to make a hard decision, and you have to go get rid of that guy who's the face of your team because you have to make a new face. And like it's like was like the Harry Potter series I've been kind of tuned in lately. Like a phoenix must rise from the ash, like from the ash eventually. And I feel like you're not giving these guys a real opportunity if you're having someone who knows what they're doing, and they can't do it without him. And that's what happened. And I think that's what Nas was pointing and highlighting is they just couldn't do it without him. And that's not good for these guys because they got to make it happen. There's going to be times where people get hurt. There's going to be times where people aren't there, and you got to step up. So I kind of agree
Another
with Nas on there, and I like the tangent. I really do. I think it's
another
very, very, very valuable to know.
another another piece of that is you have to think about. I thought E League was a developmental league, and you're trying to get people to come into the FBA as a whole, right? Like it's an introductory. You're losing 2 to 3, 4 roster spots on certain rosters for people that play on your main roster that could be brand new faces coming in. Like look at the Ox League. The Ox League is a great example of this. Or look at GM5. Every season we see brand new people that we've never seen before. Whole new teams that are incorporated into this world, and then they return next year. They return with their friends. They return to different teams. Like they create. That's what I thought the E League was about. If you're, are you looking to like make a team just to win?
At that
Like
point, yeah. At that
do
point,
that at the
yeah.
FBA.
Yeah. It's like the summer league doesn't even do that. Like sometimes the best players in the draft only play like 2 games. Like
Uh-huh.
it's really about developing.
Like this is not about development. If you're bringing in your main roster, your goal isn't to develop. That's not what that's for. Because Kevin could do work with them. Kevin could do work with them training. Kevin could do work with them in practice. I'm sure Kevin would love to do that.
Or what
Dude's like a
Berto
pure
does.
hooper.
Or like
Yeah.
what Berto does, where he's just like a face. Like he's just there, like being like what LeBron does with the Lakers when it's their summertime. LeBron shows up, he presents, all of us with his greatness, and then he goes about his business. Like he's not like, yo, let me get on the summer league team real quick. I think we gotta. He's done. Like
This is not the E League. This is the FBA 2. That's all this is. Just the FBA number 2. There's nothing else. You're not developing
SBA
people.
Junior.
Yeah. You know who is developing people? Greg and Shine On, who we'll probably talk about later. Like he's developing people. Like he's building people up. That's what I want to see the E League. I want to see the E League do that. That's what it should be doing.
The
I agree
Lions.
100%. I think the E League is should be used as best as possible to develop players, coaches, and teams. And for the most part, that's what they've been doing their best at. And it's a great opportunity to allow everybody that I just mentioned, players, coaches, and teams to get into the semi-professional scene. The minor league scene, some people don't like the word semi-professional, but this is a way for them to get into that and showcase their skills. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents. I've already voiced it, in an internal setting with them, but I figured, it's on my podcast. Well, why not say this out loud now? But
Am I the
listen,
drama?
at the end of the day, everybody has their own reason behind it. There's no ill will to it. Nobody's trying to cheat their way into an elite championship. Everybody has their own reason as to why they want to have those players play, and the reasons are valid. That's at the end of the day, I believe in that. But I would like to see a different direction for the league. Well, at the end of the day, we're gonna sign up every single year with my Vipers, and if we're gonna get our ass beat by Kevin Rulock every single year, then I guess that's just what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I guess
But it's
that's just
also
what's
not
gonna
just
happen.
Kevin Rulock though.
But
We mentioned him.
this
It's
isn't.
also the
Hold on.
Tyler
This isn't
Rodriguez, the
even.
Sean Kapoor,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people.
This
Yeah,
isn't even
there's
about really Kevin Rulock at the end of the day, man. This is about operations at the end of the day. That's what it is. And I don't want him to get mad and start, subtweeting us. And now we have a story we're tagged in. And I don't want that because I like Kev. And I think Kev's just an outspoken hooper who likes to hoop. And also the people in the E League, this isn't like a diss. This is just what is it called? Nas gives me constructive criticism. That's the word. It's just construction criticism. And I don't want to see the same people I see in every league. I want to see some new faces. I want to see some people who aren't from here. Maybe he is as good as Kevin Rulock, but I don't know who the fuck he is. This could be a platform for people to kind of who are new to the area to be like, oh yeah, the E League's there. Let me go there. So maybe someone in Central Florida can sign me. This can be bigger than the FBA if you really think about it. This could be a showcase around Florida. But if you think small, you're gonna get small. You know, you got to think big, bitch. That's at the end of the
Think bigger,
day.
bitch.
You think
what in the
small, bitch,
world.
think big.
Going back to the E League semis, though, as I mentioned, the Alpha Lions were able to squeeze out a win there by 33 points decisively, 108-75, to advance to the E League finals. And Shine On, who have been the story of the year for the E League, were able to beat the Florida Flight Airmen. No, Navy? Wait, Airmen. Yep, Airmen. And the Florida Flight Airmen Army. That's what it is. Airmen Army. Sorry, that was a mouthful. Um, Shine On was able to get that win, 113-110, ladies and gentlemen. Shine On, the story of the year for the E League. A team of majority free agents from the E League signups, last fall. Shine On unable to scrape together the players that they anticipated to, so they had to go into that free agent pool heavily. And Greg St. Remy, owner of Shine On Athletics, head coach of the Shine On basketball team, has been able to put together a phenomenal squad of guys who a lot of them maybe just met for the first time, or have only played, at the park, at the gym, or at rec leagues at best case scenario. He's able to put them together, and they've won a lot of games. They've advanced all the way to the E League finals, and I think they have a real opportunity to win. The Alpha Lions also have a huge opportunity to win. I would say they're my favorite if we're doing predictions. I'm going for the Lions on that one, but they're trying to prove themselves as they have a bid going on to enter the FBA in the summer. So they need to show that they are capable. Um, and so far, they've been a very good addition to the FBA. How can I say? Family, I guess you could say. They've been a very good addition. Coach Benny, I think, will be a very valuable piece, especially with the basketball business that he runs. I think he's going to be a huge piece to the FBA success moving forward. We just got to keep talking to him, keep getting him on the same page as us, man. Make sure that he's there. We've struggled with owners in the past, consistently only being able to really be on the same page between me, Daniel, and Mark. Really, um, and we really want Coach Benny to be one of the new faces that helps the FBA move in the right direction. So I got the Alpha Lions in the finals. I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to watch the teams enough to give your predictions, but I mean, what do you guys think?
Seen a good amount. You said it was Alpha Lions versus who? The Shiner?
Shine on, yeah.
Listen, I want. Dang. I mean, they're both brand new. That's kind of. I'm gonna side with
I don't.
Shinon. I like what Greg did, like you had mentioned. Almost everybody came directly from the draft. He didn't really come with anyone new, and look how they're performing. Or anybody old. Sorry, he doesn't really have experience with anybody here. I I like that. I'm gonna go Shinon.
I don't have a horse in this race right now because I can't say that I've been watching enough. But I do want to shout out Greg, obviously, just in general. He's a basketball mind. I've seen his basketball mind in action when playing, with being a good teammate. So I definitely just want to kudos him to him. And I think it's pretty cool that Nas is talking about him in his life. That must mean he's doing very good. Nas is not one to hand out, um, you know, good things to people. I usually say the other way around.
That's
Yeah.
not true at all. That's
It's the other way
false.
around.
False
So,
narrative.
and this is
False
just a little
narrative.
token. Love you guys, but yeah. So the fact that he's giving him his flowers is dope. It's dope. So I just want to kudos that. I guess follow up with that for sure. For sure.
The FBA has a very consistent trend of the new team winning a championship, by the way. The Polk County Royals entered the FBA in 2021, won a championship. The Claremont Crocs made their, no, I'm sorry. The Claremont Crocs made their debut in 2021. My apologies. The Clocks made their debut in 2021, won a championship. The Royals in 2022 won a championship. The two new teams debuted in 2023 were the Lambs and the Serpents. Shout out to the Serpents. Both made it to the finals. Obviously, one had to win, so the new team once again won. Not us, unfortunately. Shout out to the Lambs. 2024 was the only year a new team did not enter the FBA. However, the E League made its return in 2024, and the Space Coast Heat, who were new to the FBA family, won the E League championship once the E League made the return. And 2025, I don't actually recall who won. I'm not gonna lie. Wait, did I get my years mixed up? Yeah, no, yeah. 2025, 2024 was the Space Coast Heat. 2025, I actually don't remember who won. I'm not gonna lie.
It was a
I
fight.
was not very active
We
in the E
reported.
League.
Oh, I'm sorry. In the FBA.
Yeah, in the FBA, there was no new team, so the trend was broken there. But I think there may have been a new team in the E League. I don't remember who won in the E League, but I'm sure Mark
Kings,
or
right?
somebody.
Alpha Kings.
Yeah, you're there. You go. That's yep. A new team entered the E League, not the FBA that year, but the Atleta Kings entered the E League as a new team, trying to get their way into the FBA, prove themselves. They won the E League championship, and here we are again, another year. The Shine On and Team Alpha Alliance, both new teams to the FBA franchise, to the FBA organization, and both heading to the finals for the E League. Team Alpha Lions will be a new team in the FBA here in the summer, according to speculation and rumors around the mill. So
Who's the
cross
mill?
our fingers,
Nas
huh?
is a
On
mill.
the mill.
Nas is a mill here. You gotta remember.
Cross our fingers here that they do not continue the trend because obviously the Serpents are back in the FBA and we have no intention of losing this time around. So cross our fingers the trend can finally be broken for, and I actually don't know prior years to 2021. My FBA history stops at 2021, unfortunately. Um, and who knows? There could have been more years. So it's been a very interesting year, or I'm sorry, very interesting trend for the FBA. Just wanted to kind of point that little fun fact out. Um, but to finish up FBA topics, the FBA regular season tip off season opener just happened yesterday at the Kia Center, like every other year for the past I don't know how many years. The Florida Flight hosting the FBA season opener at the Kia Center versus the Claremont Crocs this time around, and I'm not gonna lie, very exciting brand of basketball. Very exciting brand of basketball. It was one hell of a game. Let me actually pull up the roster names here because I want to shout out a couple players and then we can move on because I know the guys haven't had a chance. Well, actually, the game hasn't been uploaded, so nobody has had a chance to watch it. So I just want to shout out a couple guys and then we can move on. So since you guys don't have a chance to talk about them, but these are players you recognize though. So feel free to give your 2 cents on the player itself. But I mean, obviously Kevin Rulock did his thing. You know what I mean? Turning it up in that third and fourth quarter as he typically likes to do for whatever reason. Um, but the MVPs to me, and I want to give a shout out to first and foremost Khalil McDonald. I have three players that I want to give a shout out to. Khalil McDonald, who had the game-winning block to secure the victory for the Claremont Crocs, where Tyler had a play set up to try and get himself a game winner, or not a game winner. I think he was trying to, I think maybe tie the game if I'm not mistaken. And Khalil McDonald, man, the defense on that play was phenomenal. When you guys get a chance, make sure you watch that game, bro. It was a very good game. Like no lies, no exaggeration. Khalil stayed with him, moved his feet very well. Tyler went up. Khalil went up with him. Khalil won that engagement. He blocked him. They had to foul. They won by 4, 100-96. Thanks to Khalil. Overall, he had a lot of great, phenomenal defensive possessions. I think fourth quarter defense won them that game. How they locked in defensively in the fourth quarter was something to see because they were not locked in the first half. The cherry picking, the easy outlets, the easy fast breaks for the flights were abundant. Like that was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like somebody get back. What is going on? These are just easy buckets. Transition threes, everything. But the way they locked in on defense in the fourth quarter was phenomenal. Another player that I want to give a shout out to, it's Leitner, but I don't remember his first. Oh, Tyrell Leitner. He's been a Croc for a while now. He actually lit us up once. I remember he had like 7 or 8 threes on us one day. But Tyrell Leitner did a lot of the little things for them as well. That's another player that I want to give a shout out to. He was very good on defense as well. Big part of their defensive push in that fourth quarter. Like I kid you not, it was just beautiful to watch. I'm not even going front. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. Like they really locked in. It's the last player that I want to mention that really locked in that I want to get to really fast. But I'm gonna give Leitner his flowers. I'm gonna give him a moment of spotlight. He did the little things, diving for the loose balls, communicating on defense, always switching when needed to switch, never allowing anybody to scramble on defense. That was my favorite part of Leitner's game on the defensive end. He never allowed his teammates to scramble on defense. You know, when the possession lasts too long, when too many passes are being made, too many pick and rolls, players just start losing themselves. Next thing you know, we got mismatches everywhere because players switched at the wrong time. Tyrell did a phenomenal job of making sure everybody stayed put on their assignment and did not force any type of mismatch. No bigs on a guard, no guards on a big, nothing like that. Just everybody stay put, talk to each other, call out the screens, force your way through these screens. Do not let them push you over, enforce yourselves. He did a very good job of doing the little things that kept them engaged on the defensive end. Specifically, one play, if you guys watch, you'll notice him and Khalil were guarding the opposite player by mistake on the inbounds play. Tyrell notices and he starts yelling like Khalil, come over here, and then they swap, and that puts Khalil on Tyler, and that ends the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you give Khalil the flowers for getting the block, but you can't forget Tyrell was the one locked in enough to say, this is not the matchup we want. Let's swap this right here. I want you on Tyler. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love those little things. That's just me. I know some people don't pay attention to the game that deeply, but I love little things like that because plays like that matter so much. And that's a perfect example. They won the game because of Leitner making that swap and saying, this is the matchup we want. You take Tyler on this play and you stop him. You know what I'm saying? And I loved it personally. But the one shout out I want is we saw him at the Royals game. And this is the last thing I'll say so we can move on. Georgie Nikolic, he played for Tropics. And I remember I told you he's a Crocs player.
Yeah.
Let me fucking tell you, Tyler. Let me fucking tell you. If you've ever seen a motherfucker like Tyler get strapped, you were dreaming. Because this is the only reality that exists, a motherfucking Tyler Rodriguez getting strapped down. Nikolic, I'm sorry, Nikola, I almost called him Jokic. Nikolic, golly, man. Tyler hit a one open three in that fourth quarter, and that's about it. And it happens, whatever. That motherfucker Georgie or Jordy, I'm not entirely sure. Some people will call him Georgie, some people will call him Jordy. I don't think anybody knows how to pronounce his name. But he was locked the fuck in. If you tell me who's the player of the game, it was him. That second half, he was knocking down his wide open shots, which was very crucial for them to make that comeback. Offensive rebounding was phenomenal for him. And those defensive plays, I'm sure Tyler may have scored maybe once, twice, who knows, 3 times. But if you see how many times he tried to score compared to how many times he got to score, the ratio was in Nikolic's favor. Let me tell you that much, because Tyler was not getting them buckets. He did hit
We'll
a
bring him
really big
forward.
three.
It's interesting
Mhm.
because we see him a lot. Is he known for like being a defender?
He gets put on the big a lot. That's the problem. The Crocs have struggled in finding size over the last few years. So players like Kevin Rulock, who at this caliber is more of a forward, has been playing a lot of center. Georgie, I think, has been forced to play centers very often. He's more of a wing in a traditional sense. Maybe like a power forward, small forward type of player in this league. So like he doesn't get the opportunity to get on somebody that plays in the perimeter, but he got the opportunity this game, and he stayed in the game. As soon as he checked in that fourth quarter, he never got taken out again. Um, because he dominated on the defensive end. He did a phenomenal job, and obviously there was a couple plays where he got for sure. But when you play defense that hard that often, you're gonna get got regardless. You know what I mean? Like there's gonna be you're gonna get shifted once or twice. You're gonna get turned around once or twice. You know what I mean? You might get dunked on. You might get crossed over. Whatever the fuck, it's gonna happen. His intensity was to be what won them the game. And I mentioned other players too that did a great job, but intensity, I'm sorry, was what won them the game. Kevin Rulock's offensive dominance in that second half was obviously a big factor. Khalil did a phenomenal job on defense, especially that final play to get them that secured lead, and then Tyrell did a phenomenal job as well. But I want to give it the flowers to Georgie. I think he won them that game. I 100% believe you remove him from that fourth quarter, they lose that game. I 100% believe that. How they lose it, I don't know, but they lose it. I think he was a difference maker. I don't think anything else that occurred that half would happen if he wasn't in the game doing what he was doing. So shout out to him, man. Oh, last thing I'll say before you go. His I want to say it was his girlfriend. I wasn't paying too much attention, but I want to say it was his girlfriend. She had a huge cutout of his face, of his head.
Oh,
That was
I
so
like
funny.
that.
Yeah, she had a huge cutout of his face, man. But shout out to the FBA for providing those type of opportunities, man, to go play at the Kia Center like that. You know what I mean? That's probably why she did it. It felt like such a big moment for him, and she went all out. So shout out. That was dope. it was funny, but go ahead.
You also mentioned someone caught a body.
Oh yeah, man. In real time, it appeared that way. I'm not entirely sure if the body was fully there, but regardless, Tyler did catch a really good alley oop, and there was definitely players in the vicinity. So if a picture was taken, they're on that poster. I'm just saying, there's definitely players in the vicinity. Who was it? It was Braylon. I'm not. You guys are familiar with Braylon. He plays for the Kings in the OBL. Braylon threw it, and I was flabbergasted. I'm trying to figure out where is that going. What are you doing? That's not going to Tyler. There's no way. Like that's not the right player. I think you got him mistaken with somebody else. And then Tyler rolls up and two-handed flushed that. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
I
What
didn't
is
know.
going on? That's
I didn't do this.
Yeah, I didn't know this guy was in the flight the whole time. Where was he? He reminded me of the Florida Tropics, just deciding to just dunk the ball out of nowhere for some random reason. But yeah, he in real time it gave me the impression that there was a body there that got, but who knows? I could be wrong. We'll see in the footage. It's being uploaded right now. I'm definitely gonna fast forward to that moment and see if there was anybody there. But in the grand scheme of things, the alley oop was a big deal. It was a really good play, really good momentum shifter. Unfortunately, some other momentum shifters also happened, which then turned it into the Crocs game after that. But it was a fun game, man. As soon as it gets uploaded, you guys definitely need to take the time out to watch it. It was fun.
I actually will. Yeah, I enjoy good basketball. You know me.
Same, same.
But yeah,
I gotta
but yeah,
check
that
that out.
was my little rant on that game. I was the only one able. I was there physically. That's why I know of the things that happened that game. It hasn't been uploaded on YouTube yet, so nobody's been able to watch. But we can move on to our closing topics, our nice little men's leagues that we got going on, starting with the OBL on Monday and Tuesday. I'll mention the scores. You guys feel free to shout out whatever players you want to shout out. But I'm just going to mention all the scores, and then whatever players you guys want to give some props to, feel free to do so. Starting with the Phantom Force beating the Crusaders 83-59. That was a pretty decisive win there. The Martians beat Chosen Ones 63-54. And then the Alpha Kings beat On the Rise 82-63. These are not the only games being played. These are the only games that we personally recorded, as we
Wait,
cannot be in two places at once.
no, it wasn't
We
the
didn't
Alpha
record the
Kings.
Kings.
It wasn't the
We didn't
It
Kings.
record
wasn't
the
the
Kings.
Alpha Kings.
I just thought about it
Oh, was
now.
that
Uh,
was that their first game?
It was on the rise
no,
again
we
versus
it was
Tampa.
Bond's team versus somebody else. They went to overtime.
Oops.
Um,
It was on the rise. I'll tell you right now.
They had
Why
red
did
jerseys, Tyler. The team
why
that
did that
played.
game pop up for me?
Was it? It wasn't
It was
Martian.
the team with the Spanish guy who was a point guard.
It was an NWO.
No.
Yeah. On the rise versus NWO. Yep.
The new NWO, the
The-
New World Order, ladies and gentlemen, just to make
Yeah.
sure we don't get it mixed. First, it looked so the reason I didn't do that game is because I remember you mentioning a game that cut out, and this game looks like it did, but maybe I'm just tripping.
I was the Alpha Kings. Did this? I'll check right now. If it did, I'll re-upload it right now.
I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. I mean, let me see. Let me fast forward one more time. Yeah, it does look like it cut out.
Okay,
It
yeah, I'll
stops.
re-upload that.
I don't
Nobody had
know.
mentioned that. I apologize for that. Oh man.
Yeah, I thought I remember you mentioning to me that there was a game that cut out and you re-uploaded. So when I saw that this cut out, I went to go see the re-upload and I saw the Alpha Kings game. That's where I got crossed up. That's what happened there.
I gotta figure out how to get better internet in that side because for whatever reason it only happens when we're at that small gym. So I'm gonna test out a few things and pay attention better. That's all.
Yeah, but I apologize. I got crossed up there. I see now where I went wrong when I was looking up the games. But yeah, so it was the On the Rise versus NWO. So what was the final score? It looks like actually I forgot already. Who was winning?
It was. I'll tell you right now who wins.
I don't think it was NWO, you
NWO.
guys.
NWO wins this. What?
Because funny how Pluto starts the sentence by saying, "I don't think it was NWO," and then
I
Tyler
don't think it
immediately, "It was
was.
NWO."
It was Vaughn's team versus the dude, the Hispanic point guard dude who we see in a bunch of different leagues. He was a part of the GM5 at one point. I can't think of his name though. You know
When
what I'm
it
talking
cut
about.
now, when
Vaughn
it
is reffing. Vaughn is remember this is a game where Tommy plays. They got the
Oh,
guy.
okay.
They got
I'm
the
even
guy in
thinking
the
about the
hoodie.
wrong game. No, I'm thinking. I thought we were talking about the first game of the OBL on Monday. I'm thinking even about the wrong game. Okay, never
They
mind.
got the guy in the hoodie that's cooking. 51-63 is the ending score.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to watch the end of that.
We can
oh yeah,
talk
then
more
it
about
cut
that.
out. It cut out pretty early then because the score is 52-45.
I made a mistake this one. Unfortunately, some things happened. I was doing everything. Everyone was gone. Everyone just kind of left me alone.
Oh man.
Nice, nice.
I'm joking.
That is
Personal
funny.
matters came up. It was understandable.
Yeah.
All right.
Crazy
Well, that
stuff.
was the scores, though. You know, you guys were there. Any players that you want to highlight? I think I've been done doing enough ranting. I need to shut up for a moment.
Phantom Force. Phantom Force. Fucking Andrew Groningen and Josiah did not
Fucking
miss.
crazy.
There was a point where Andrew Groningen's like, "Yeah, I'm about to fuck them up." He just comes up, or what do you say, Pluto? He came up to you and said,
He
"I think
said he came up to us, and the first thing he says is, "Y'all haven't seen shit yet."
we haven't. We
They
haven't.
just
I'll tell you, we haven't."
it. And the thing is, him, Andrew, we were talking, and I was like, because I've selective memory, but it's like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I selectively remember he started off the first half jacking like a 3-point shot from NBA range. Like that's how he started the second half. And then he was like, "Yeah, I did that on purpose. I just wanted to see if I could make it." And I was like, "You just wanted to see if you can make it in the middle of a game, okay?" And then Josiah comes and has a clinic. I don't know where Pink finds these guys. I don't know how. Pink always has a really good shooter and some decent big man. And the wings could be it there at times, but he's always going to find himself a shooter. That's one thing about Pink. And boy, does he have some shooters on this team. He has a ton of shooters on this team. Like the big man had at least 20 rebounds on the Phantom. He had at least 20. He didn't have a good game.
Talking about Josh Bedecker.
Yeah. They didn't have the best of games, but he had at least 20 boards, bro. He was cooking, bro. He was cooking.
There was
You know,
nothing
now that
that
I
they
think
could
about
do.
it, Josh Beneker fits the mold of what I'm looking for. Maybe I should talk to Pink.
You should. You
He's got some
should.
good size to him too. He can shoot,
And
can
he
he?
can handle the rock.
Man,
Oh man, he could. Ooh, keep
he's
going.
You can put him
perfect
at
for
a
what
point
you're looking
forward.
for.
And
Actually,
you can put
he's
him at like a
actually.
point forward and he could eat. Yeah.
Yeah, listen, Pink, if you're watching this, hit me up about Josh Beneker, man. Let's put him on the squad. Listen, if you need a role on the Serpents to get him on the Serpents, let's make it happen. All right.
I
All
was
right,
One
bad.
continue.
other thing about this game, bro. I
Pink's
think
a
that
good
the
coach.
I think Crusaders could have stayed in this game, but number 33, I think last name Vera, was chucking, bro. Was straight chucking shots. He he looks like he was practicing. That's what he looks like. It was just practice shots. If he got the ball, it was going up
Yeah.
without a
Damn.
doubt.
He's
If
nice
you
though. He's got a nice game though. If I think you're talking about the skinny kid who with number
the one I
32.
told you to look out for,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
got a good game. I just think when you add physicality to him, like when you get physical with him, his game kind of diminishes, and that's what they were doing with him. They're just being really physical, and they were just like the last couple games they played, they just out physical with a lot of teams. And like I'm gonna say it, but Andrew Bartley, like he when he goes to the hole, he looks like a strong safety or like a running back. Just he like it's insane how fast he is. I think he doesn't get talked about his speed enough, and I think I know why, but I'm not going to say the elephant in the room. But he's pretty fucking fast, bro.
he got a good
Hey,
work
what's the elephant in
ethic.
the
Low
room?
key.
First in the gym, last out.
Wait, who is it?
Real
I'm sorry.
scrappy. I know what he's saying.
Oh yeah, I remember Tyler.
Wait, who is it?
He's real
He's
scrappy.
Andrew Gronigan.
He's a glue guy. He's a glue guy.
Yeah, he's a locker room guy. I know how it is. Listen, white boy went to
Nas
I'm
the
so
feels
hoop.
so left out.
You could say
I'm
it.
so confused.
We're describing a white NBA player, bro.
How they describe white NBA players. Real first and last out type of guy.
Scrappy kind of guy.
Yeah,
Just
scrappy,
plays good
work ethic.
defense. Makes the extra
No,
pass.
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned
Holds
out
his
there for a
teammates
second.
accountable.
But like he is so, and it's funny that Pluto mentioned that he took that shot from NBA range because later in the game he makes that same shot, almost the same distance. Like
Bro,
he's untouchable.
he's nice. I would like to see Andrew in an Oxleague setting. I wouldn't lie. I think Andrew can win, like, he can average like 26 to like 25 points in that league. I think so. I would
Hell
love to
yeah,
see
I
him in an
agree.
Oxleague setting.
I got to figure out who the guy was that came up to us. He plays in the Ox League as well. Yeah, he had the dreads. He had the 12s on. He was hooping in the Great 12
Oh,
just
my
recently.
Pluto's pick, one of my Pluto's picks for
Yeah,
this league.
he's
Uh,
nice, bro. He is nice
he
as
is very
well.
nice.
But his ankle
Yes.
was messed up, so he couldn't play as much. He was mentioning, but he came in.
Okay,
He came in
okay.
and
You're
hit the
talking
three
about
threes immediately.
yeah. You're talking about the dude with the longer locks. He plays on the
Yeah,
Stampede. I think he
yeah.
plays on the Stampede.
I gotta
He's
figure out
yeah,
his
he's a
name.
cool shooter. He's been hurt though since like even before the first game. He was telling us he was
No,
coming back from injury
but he also hurt his foot on that
again.
first game. Yeah,
He hurt
so
himself
it's
again.
unfortunate. On the
Yeah.
other
It
game though,
sucks.
because we're kind of talking a lot about the Crusaders and Phantom Force. Crusaders played very well. I think the Phantom Force is gonna be like them and
The
Alabama
team.
Kings. I expect them to win one of those two teams. So Crusaders to kind of come there and actually put up a fight was nice. The Chosen Ones versus Martians was even weirder, bro. Chosen Ones they have like 11 people on their roster now.
Yeah, they're too deep for a running clock game with
There's
two
no
halves.
way that you can incorporate 11 people into a running clock game. Like nobody got a groove going at all.
With
They
two
would come in,
halves.
yeah, they come in for 3 minutes and they get taken out again. Like something has to change with
Nope.
that squad.
And on top of that, no one calls the timeout. So you're right. People come in 3 minutes, and there's no fouls being called either in this league. No offense to the refs, but there's not a lot of fouls being called. So you're lucky to try to sub out or sub in. It's like highway of basketball right now because like everybody wants to play, but like I think one of the players made a really good. I think it was Day Day. He made a really good point. If a team's on a run, you can't sub someone out with 3 minutes left. Like you can't sub him out. They're on a run. You got to keep it going. And it's just like the nuance of basketball. Sometimes it escapes a lot of, especially at this league, it escapes the minds of a lot of people. And I've learned a lot since I've started this pod and just being around it more, you know. But in general, though, like I feel like people don't understand like momentum. Like that's one of the hardest things I think people want to like. People just want to jump in a game in a men's league. Like fuck it, 2 minutes left. We're down two. They need me. They need me on the
You
court
need
right
me.
now.
Come in through a fucking
I'm what's
terrible
gonna
shot
win us
up.
this game. Like no, sir, stay on the bench.
No, I'm not gonna.
Let those
I'm not.
boys hoop.
I'm not gonna lie. That is pretty funny. That is how they think. They need me right now. No, they don't. They didn't need you this whole time. Why would they need you right now? Yeah.
But
We got up
It's,
every
they're on
time
the
you
run
sat
for the
out.
first time since you've been on the
but
bench. Like Chill.
Remember, I was talking about it last podcast, though, how difficult it is in these type of settings to find players to buy in and to play roles. It's like these guys are playing in the park and in the gyms, every day, every other day, and probably hooping, knocking down all these threes and doing all this fancy shit against the fucking 70-year-old man that walked into the park, you know what I mean, or walked into esports.
Or
You know what I
at
mean?
a four.
They think they raw as fuck, you know what I mean? Oops. Camera's doing all kinds of crazy shit. Yeah, and that's what it is, you know what I mean? Like they don't realize like they not everybody is the shit. You know what I mean? Like I get it, bro. Like random before we continue with the OBL, I wanted to make one random note of somebody who I always thought kind of fits this mold. The guy Lindo. the,
It's me, Linda.
it's me,
Dodgy
Lindo.
rookie.
I like he obviously blew up because of, I think, from a personality perspective and from what he's doing out there, it's very eye catching and draws a crowd. But like I just never thought he was that good. You know what I mean? I just never. His game is kind of awkward to me. You know what I mean? Like his shot is ugly. His dribble is ugly. Like you put some of these creators into a professional basketball setting or even a minor league basketball setting, and they're gonna get cooked. You know what I mean? No offense to anybody. I'm gonna assume at this point they're not even watching the podcast anymore. But no offense to A Millie, but like he hits good shots, but he's not really balling like you would anticipate he would.
Butter.
You know what I mean? Like he's not really going off. Like he hit some good shots. He did some good things, but like the way these clips be looking on Instagram, you think he's gonna show up and drop 40. You know what I mean? I'd be surprised if he dropped 12. So I'm just like it's kind of to your point that a lot of these guys' egos are inflated because of moments that they can remember, and they don't view the game as a whole. And it's what I be getting on Pluto about all the time. You remember a lot of moments that were interesting about a player's game and a player's performance, but as a whole, did that player truly impact the game? Did they really play that well? You know what I mean? Like it's like Jamal Murray had 15 points against the Lakers. You know what I mean? But that man shot probably
Okay.
five for 27. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, somebody may have 50, but like, you had to take
30
57
shots.
shots to get there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like that's cool. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of
Crowd
these
a little too
players'
much.
ego is inflated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
a
one
lot
thing
of
I've
these.
learned, like throughout like my growth and development as a basketball mind, because I could say I've had one, is yeah, I do enjoy my Jalen Greens, I enjoy my J.R. Smiths, but
Melo too.
I've gotta also enjoy my Djokovic. I gotta also enjoy my LeBron James, those efficient people, because like the game ain't the same. Like a highlight's cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm here for a highlight. But at the end of the day, now that I've watched this league, like my favorite players are like the players like the ball handlers, like a Melo. Like I think Melo is dope. He controls tempo. He decides. He
Wait,
dictates a
wait,
lot of the
wait, wait,
games.
wait, wait.
I enjoy watching Melo play. I'm not gonna
Those
lie.
are the same type of
It's
players.
fine.
Yeah,
Huh?
he's the same type of player. What are you talking about?
Mello,
You try.
You
not
just
love
described a
Mello.
Jalen Green?
Mello from like the GM5.
Oh.
Mello from the
Oh,
GM5. Come
oh,
on, y'all. Come on, y'all. I'm not
yeah,
that bad. I know
I was
I'm
gonna say
bad,
you
but I'm
just
not that
that's
bad.
that was just Jalen Green
Jeez.
with a handle. That's all.
yeah. I was about to say this man really just took 2 steps forward and about 27 steps back.
No, I'm talking
Like,
about Mello, like a tempo, like I've like a Cade Cunningham as well, like someone who can like just dictate the game off tempo. That's one thing I've a revelation to me that's changed my whole look at basketball, because like if you can't control like what you can, then you can't control anything. And that's what I've learned from a lot of the bad teams we've watched. Like they can't do anything, can't rebound, can't pass, can't shoot. Yeah, they just turn the ball over. It just all plays in together, and that's just what
listen,
it is.
listen, I'll put you on game right here, right now. The difference between a good player and a bad player is looking for the opportunity to present itself. A good player creates the opportunity that he wants
All
to
right.
present itself all the time. Like these great point guards like a Cade, you know what I mean? Even Melo. Melo's a good example, or Romello Bates. At the caliber of basketball he's playing, he creates opportunities. He does what needs to be done to allow somebody to be wide open, right? The Chris
Yeah.
Pauls of the world, the Steve Nashes, their high assist number guys, Jason Kidds, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're
They're
high
efficient
assist
people.
number guys. They're MVP caliber guys. They're efficient players because they look for the opportunity. You know what I mean? Kevin Durant is as efficient as he is, not because he's taking the shot the defense gives him, because he's looking for the shot he wants every single time. He's getting to that spot every single time. You know what I mean? These guys are Dirk Nowitzki, one of the most efficient big men in NBA history. He gets to the spot that he wants to get to every single time, and that's the shot he's going to take. Kobe, he was a chucker, but he's making these terrible shots because he's getting to the spots he wants to get to. So
Yep.
he's gonna take a lot of them, which is unfortunate because his percentage isn't always gonna look great, but he's gonna make a lot of tough shots, and that's what makes him great. That's what made MJ great. That's what makes Luka great. They take a lot of difficult shots, but it's the same shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luka's taking the same step back three every time. When are we going to stop questioning the man? We get it. It's a bad shot. We all know that. He knows that. I'm sure he does. I'm sure he's aware. He's chucking up a terrible three, but he's
But
taking that every single. In his head,
in his head
I
though,
do this every day. I do this every day. Why am I not going to do it again? Like, why am I not going to do it again? Why would
I
I listen
practiced
to
the
you?
shot.
Like, you know what I mean? It's that thought process. It's the players who don't take the same shot every time. And I know I come back to this over and over again, and I'm going to do it again. Watch Jalen Green film. What's his signature shot?
A bad one.
A bad one. You know what I mean? He doesn't have one.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But the best players, they
yeah,
have a
that's
signature
true.
shot, a shot that they're
That's
going to
true.
go to, the one-legged fadeaway. LeBron's little, fuck you three. Stephen Curry coming off the screens. Michael Jordan fadeaway, Kobe fadeaway. All these players have, the
LeBron
Kareem
fed away.
skyhook. LeBron fadeaway, step back three from, or step back from Harden in general,
Shaq
step back from
Crackwell.
Luca. You know what I mean? Like everything, they have a go-to shot, and if they take 20 shots, 12 to 14 of them was that go-to shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The other ones were like wide open layups or wide open hooks that they just found upon, or a dunk that they just found themselves
Tony
upon.
Parker floater. I see what you're saying. That's
Like
what
these
separates I get what you're saying now, because that is what separates like efficiency from a volume player.
chucking,
Volume.
chucking.
That's the word. And it's crazy because the NBA, for a while, I never understood what volume meant. Volume means is he has to take a lot of shots to make some shots. And that's what that word is dressed up as. It sounds good professionally, but a lot of these players are volume players. And I had to understand there's a difference between a volume player and an efficient player. And I think that's where my maturation has grown as like I would say as an analyst or as anything. But it's crazy because a good transition in the Oxleague, there was a guy going to the same spot, and you guys thought he played somewhere, and he didn't. But he's also a really good player, though. In general, though, want to give him his
He
flowers.
just
But
figured out his
but
name.
you see, I know his last name is Escontrias, but that's the point that I'm trying to make. When you do that, that just looks like good basketball. It just presents itself as like you're doing great things. And I mean, obviously, I was wrong. I'm surprised he didn't get a chance to play. Whether
Yeah,
D2 or some JUCO school. He seems like a talented basketball player. So I'm surprised maybe opportunities didn't present themselves for him. Maybe he picked up basketball late. Who knows what the scenario could be for him? But he looked very poised. He looked very controlled. He was taking the shots that he wanted to take. He was setting himself up in the same spot that he wanted to set himself up in. And he did a very good job as Contreras. I forget their
Lamar.
names of the brothers, huh?
Lamar is the one that was on the block most of the time.
Yeah, Lamar
yeah.
as
Lamar's
Contreras,
nice.
man.
Hmm.
He is very nice, very poised, very controlled, very patient. Doesn't rush anything. Even his threes, he's not too many jab steps, not too many dribbles. He's catching it. He gives you one jab step based on how you react. He's gonna shoot it or he's not. And he moves on.
Take a look at the Oxleague actually.
Yeah, that was that the first game? It was, right? The
That was
Ducks
the first game.
versus where'd it go? Did I delete it? Oh yeah, Warriors versus Ducks. The Warriors were able to beat the Ducks 75-68. It was the Ducks had a lot going there, but the Warriors kind of put it together. The Warriors are a very good team, I'd say. I like them a lot. And I see they got their, pseudo big man now with the guy, the big guy. I don't know his name,
Broad
to be
dude.
honest.
I don't know his name. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
good,
there
really
last year
good,
though.
Yeah, he
really good
was.
rebounder. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's been around
so
for a
he's gonna
little
be a
while with
good
them.
he's gonna be a good addition for them for sure. But overall, I like the Ducks though. They lost, and I hate to have to put emphasis on the team that lost, but I really do like the brothers a lot. The other brother didn't quite do much this game as he did last game, but Lamar did. Lamar probably, I would be shocked if he didn't have at least 25. I really would be shocked.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he
was
was going
hooping.
off. I think the issue with Jalen is when his shot doesn't fall, like he's still committed to putting up more shots. Like it doesn't matter if it's not falling, he's gonna keep going, and which is
Sounds
good
like
at
Joe
times.
Stubbs.
Hey, listen, look where Joe Stubbs is, a borderline winner, runner up for the division. If you think about it,
So
Sure, true.
I I want to highlight someone on LNO that I kind of talked to the guy who owns LNO. Oh, I forgot his name. I know he goes by a nickname. Um, Dang.
Uptown, baby.
yeah,
Uptown, yes, Uptown.
Jason, Jason.
I apologize. Yeah, Jason, Uptown. I'm gonna go by Uptown. I apologize, Uptown. But I told him before the game. His name is Kai, by the way. His name is Kai. That's his name. The guy with the locks, who was in the OBL league, who's also in the Oxleague, who's on
That owner.
LNO.
I'm gonna say, I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about the owner.
you're fine. No, not the owner. But I told him I think Kai needs more tick, and he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, he's your best scorer. He's the only guy who can really create, and like it's efficient. And he kind of took the hint, and Kai did not leave the whole game, which he shouldn't have. He was the most consistent scorer. He got in the bucket when they needed a bucket. He made some good shots defensively. I think he played pretty good defense at times for them, as well as created a little bit for them. He obviously is more of a scorer, but I've been wanting to highlight him because he's also come up to me himself and talked to me, and he's been very like vocal with me, which I think is pretty dope. When I get like a Pluto's pick and I pick a guy and I'm like, yo, he's nice, and he only played like 10 minutes the last game they played, but he helped them get through that game as well. And he made some tough shots, and he's just a tough shot maker. He's not the most efficient guy, but he falls in line with my other guys that I like. And that's why I want to throw some love to him because he definitely was the reason they won that game. 100%. I mean, there were other factors that tied into it, but one of the biggest one was his steady hand and him being able to be a good ball handler for them and not turning the ball over as much. He was very, very good on that end for them.
Bird's defense is also really good. We were talking about him.
Yeah,
Number
21,
21.
right?
Yeah, he's he was getting
He's
into
nasty. He
and
looks like
he's
a
funny because
2K player in real
he talks
life.
shit too. You hear him talk
Tyler
shit.
froze.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well,
All right.
let me know
Right.
whenever you're ready.
Sorry about that, everybody. You're gonna see a quick little cut. We're back.
It's all
Yeah,
Tyler's
we figured
fault.
it out. Had some technical issues there, unfortunately, but this is going to be our last topic before we give away or we announce the giveaway winner. So let's talk about the last game of the Oxleague Week 3. I want to say Spartans versus Stampede. Me and Pluto were under the impression that it was still recording, so we decided to just finish the podcast without Tyler. Turns out we were talking to each other for no reason whatsoever. It was not recording at all. So we're gonna
Friends.
try our best. Yeah, we're gonna try our best to have the same caliber of energy we had when we were discussing the topic. I don't think it's gonna be there, though. I apologize in advance. We already had the whole discussion. Pula was about to give his 2 cents. I was about to announce the winner. We were about to be done. You know what I mean? So
Listen,
like,
before we even get into this game, let me apologize for two things: the recording messing up, and two, messing up the shot clock at the end of that game. Listen, guys,
Ah.
when you watch this, I apologize. I messed up the
it's
shot
funny
clock. I thought I was paying attention
that
well. I was not.
that was the best part of the discussion we were having. We were talking so much shit. That's the crazy part, and
I
none
could
of that is
sense it.
recorded.
I could sense
It's
it.
funny. It's funny how all this happens when we talk about the game where Tyler fucked up. It's interesting how all things start going wrong and Tyler can't be on the podcast anymore. Oh, what a coincidence! But yeah, Spartans were able to take that 62-60, much to the displeasure of the Stampede. There were some issues with the clock, unfortunately, but the Stampede were willing to, or at least the player who made the shot, I forgot his name already. He was willing to understand that, yeah, there was never going to be enough time available. There was 5 seconds on the clock. They probably had that possession for 12. You know what I mean? So like there was never going to be enough time available on the clock for them to make that shot and send it to overtime. So the Spartans were able to take that home. They were able to win that 62-60. Before we get to our last topic, do you guys want to give your 2 cents of that game?
Real
Any
quick,
players you want to highlight?
Everyone
you
take
want
a
to
second.
highlight Vinci one more time before you go? Because I don't think that was recorded.
Want
Or
to
did
highlight
you
what?
highlight Vinci, or was that
Oh
already recorded?
yeah. Oh man, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we got to do. Yeah, I want to give his flowers to Mr. Orlando Vinci, as he likes to call himself. I won't go through the whole rant again, but essentially his AAU team did get the opportunity to play at the Kia Center after the Florida Flight versus the Crocs game. They played the Florida Flight AAU team, and it was a really cool moment for them. I saw him post a video about how they're up to like 12 or 15 kids. He mentioned, so really dope that he's getting the opportunity to do that for them. Really cool that they have that going on. Um, and I'm just, overall, just wanted to give him his flowers. That's really all it was. Shout out to you for putting that together. I know we talk a lot of trash about you on this podcast, but it's all fun and games. Sometimes serious, sometimes less serious. But at the end of the day, what you're doing for those kids is really good, and I wanted to give you your flowers for that because, I know they loved it. I saw them coming in. I was waiting with them outside to be let in because I was a couple minutes late, and there were a couple of them were out there with him. Actually, he was also there, and those kids they just kept talking about playing at the Kia Center and how ecstatic they were, and they got to do player introductions and everything like with calling out their starting lineup and everything. So like I just know those kids ate that up. You know what I mean? At that age, to be playing on the Magic Court, you know what I mean, in front of this with this gigantic stadium of seats, obviously empty, but still, it's the feel of it, the energy of it is phenomenal. Because I felt great when we did it in 2024. You know what I'm saying? I felt spectacular to be able to have that, and I look at those pictures every day, man. It's so dope to see pictures of freaking Roberto Suarez taking a fadeaway three on the fucking NBA court. You know what I mean? Like that's one of my favorite pictures that I have, and there's just so many others. If I liked it, as a full grown adult, I know them kids were eating it up. Let me tell you, I know they were, man. So shout out to you for putting that together for them. Uh, I just wanted to give you your flowers, but go ahead and give your shout outs about the game, fellas.
I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna take away my apology though for messing up the score real quick or messing up the shot clock. Listen, while I messed up, tell me what happens on a free throw when there's a lane violation, Nas. Do they get to keep that point or do they lose it? Do they have to take
They
another free throw?
No, it was no. I asked the referee. It was a lane violation on the other team, so they got the point anyway.
Okay, never mind. My apologies back on the floor again. Um,
Yeah.
very unfortunate stuff. It was a slower game from from some of the usual suspects that we expect to do really well. Tay didn't really go out there and show out like you kind of expect. Um, and there's some names for the Spartans I don't actually know. Unfortunately, I have to get better with talking with them. But Spartans just they played a little better for majority of that game. They held a lead for a lot of that. And the Stampede were kind of fighting back and they were clawing back. Every time Trey, I believe is it Trayvon, right? I believe is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every time he kind of sat, man, I just feel like you guys just kind of like wasted the lead that you guys had built up. Um, and it's kind of unfortunate. I want to see a little bit more from Dries. I want to see him, handle the ball a lot more. I want to see him, play that defense that we saw him with Loaded because I thought it was very well. We haven't really seen that too much. Jordan Hernandez kind of broke out. He wasn't the 5 minute man anymore. He started scoring towards the end of that game. Started scoring at the 8 minute mark in that game as well, which was very interesting. So we saw a lot, but I just I don't think you guys kind of kept it together when like the main people were out. And Daniel Tavares, once you try to score a little less, just a little less, not just less overall. That's all I gotta say.
Shout out to the new
Uh,
point guard though for the Spartans. He was really good. He was scrappy, very vocal. He was a really good addition for them. I did not get his name unfortunately. New faces, so got to get used to them. But shout out to him. He was really good. I liked him.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
would say my little 2 cents about everything. Really about the game in general. I mean, I thought it was a pretty good game. I mean, I will say this: like both the games were really close, but they didn't feel like it. You kind of can feel like one team had more momentum than the other, even if they were like close games. I did feel like in the Ducks game that the momentum was swinging a different way at one point in the game, and they did make it interesting and they battled back. I think with like 2 minutes left, they came back and battled back to bring it down to like 3 to 4, 3 or 4 points. But at the end of the day, I feel like the Spartans team They go as their emotions go. They're a very emotionally driven team, and the coach is emotionally driven as well. But I think having that point guard that Nas referenced to, it's going to be a good addition for them. He's kind of a calmer. He seems more of like an old head. His vibe. He I got a little bit of stat facts behind him. He's from Connecticut. He's not from out here. He's really good and vocal. I think one of the coolest things about him, and I know Marco might not like it when I say it, but um, he was showing him how to be a better leader on the court. When you have strong personalities and you're a leader, that's a really good quality if you're able to, like, I mean, Dennis Rodman and Michael Jordan, Steph Curry and Draymond. I mean, never mind, Steph's not controlling Draymond. But in theory, right? Draymond falls in line for the fact that Steph Curry is the best player and he knows that Steph needs his passes. At some point of the game, he's going to have a pass to Steph to get him open off of a screen, and Draymond's their best facilitator. But the whole notion is, just be a better leader. I think that's a big thing in these leagues. I think if you have someone who can bring continuity and bring collectiveness, it makes players play better. It makes players play for each other. And I think when basketball isn't selfish, it's pretty dope. I'm going to go back to one of my famous coaching player coach from the Lions last year. The first game we played. I don't care about forced passes or turnovers. I just don't want bad shots. And I know as a coach, when you got these guys together and they're looking at you, they're like, "What the hell, turnovers?" But it's true. I'd rather you try to make a good pass for someone than you try to take a forced shot. And I think that's a mindset thing. But I think they did pretty good. And I want to shout out the Spartans because they did lose the game very closely and then came back and kind of showed that they can win a game when it does get close. So they got kind of the bitters of both ends. But
Spartans
just
won.
want to shout them out. Yeah. They lost by a buzzer beater.
The Spartans
And
won.
yeah, but the
Wait,
week
what did you say?
before they lost by a
Oh,
buzzer beater.
oh, oh, oh.
And
I'm about to
then,
say.
most
Back.
teams, yeah, and then they won in the same situation. They got put in the same situation and, win the game.
Yeah, I may have zoned out there for a second. I apologize.
You're good. You're good. You're good. But are you guys ready to spin that wheel?
Oh, I see Pluto's tired of the podcast. All right, so we're gonna move on to our last topic of the day, ladies. Not a topic, but let me go ahead and share my screen so we can have it on for everybody to see. Let's see.
Whenever he wins, I'm gonna do the golf claps. Okay, in the background.
Let me know if it comes up, Tyler.
I see it.
Tyler doesn't respond, so I'm not sure.
Yikes. Well, yeah, that'll be all right. We're not gonna see our
Well,
faces too much. There we go.
wait, why? It looks
I got
normal
us.
on my end.
I got us now. You gotta remember I'm
Okay,
recording.
yeah.
It's a little different.
Oh, all right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to go ahead and spin the wheel. We have 20 plus participants that have signed up for the Atleta Club, ladies and gentlemen, and we appreciate y'all for doing that. We are going to spin the wheel to determine who is going to get our March giveaway for the Atleta Club members, which is going to be 2 tickets to
It's
Aquatica,
crazy.
ladies and
This is
gentlemen.
crazy.
2 tickets to Aquatica, ladies and gentlemen. This is our first big giveaway of the year. 20 plus names available there. Shout out to everybody who joined. Make sure you join for future giveaways. We're gonna have a lot of stuff. We're gonna give away 2K27. We're gonna give them tickets to Volcano Bay. I think we're only doing 1 ticket for Volcano Bay. I believe is what we decided on. We're gonna do tickets to Epperson. I believe what it's called. We're with so many options, man. Huh?
You ended it. Stream.
You said what? I ended
You can't
it.
see it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. What? I don't know what
Share
happened.
it again.
All
Share it
right,
again.
that's weird. I didn't do anything. I didn't click on anything.
All right. We're
All
good.
right, but there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, listen, I'm not editing that out. Let's just go ahead and spin the wheel and see who the winner is, and then we'll stop sharing the screen because it's probably messing everything up. And the winner is going to be Deshaun Barnes, ladies and gentlemen. Deshaun
Fire.
Barnes.
There's a roof.
There you go, Deshaun Barnes. We're going to go ahead and look up who Deshaun Barnes is to make sure we get it to the right person. But shout out to you, Deshaun, for subscribing or joining the Atleta Club, man. We appreciate the support and we appreciate you sticking with us throughout this whole thing. Let me go ahead and stop sharing so it doesn't mess up the recording. We're gonna go ahead and find who that is. We'll see what his username is on YouTube. We'll try to figure out. He's most likely gonna be somebody from the OBL, so it shouldn't be too hard. I'm gonna assume that's gonna be the case, but we'll find you, Deshaun. And like I said, thank you so much for joining the Atleta Club. If you are interested in winning our next giveaway, which I'm gonna take a quick second to figure out what that was. If I'm not mistaken, we're giving out a second basketball this time, a molten BG 5000. If I'm not mistaken. If it takes me too long to find this, I'm just gonna assume that's correct. Looks like it is. Oh, there you go. Found it. Yep. Yep. Our April giveaway is indeed going to be a Molten BG 5000, which is the official basketball of the Olympic Games. A FIBA approved basketball. So it definitely a basketball. It takes some getting used to. Don't get me wrong. I just got 2 for the Serpents. It takes some time to get used to the feel of it, but it is a professional grade basketball. If you're interested in winning that, make sure you join the Atleta Club. You do not have to join the Star Club to be eligible to win. That's only for watching the OBL games and potentially other games in the future for other leagues. For the actual giveaway itself, you can just join the fan club. All right. So if you want a chance to win a Molten BG 5000 basketball, join the Atleta Club. You can be a fan, you can be a star, you can be elite, whichever option you decide is going to make you eligible to join the drawing. And we're going to appreciate you no matter which one you pick. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Engage with us as much as possible. Get our attention because we're going to start doing a lot of stuff for the fans and the supporters. We appreciate you for tapping in this late, regardless of all the issues that we encountered throughout this podcast. But we're gonna go ahead and head out, man. We got some Marvel Rivals to play. I got some TV to watch with the family. After I'm done with that, I got some food to eat. So we're out of here. Deuces.